Howdy Sisters, it's tea time
with Kat
and Mar.
So why don't you tell us a little about yourself?
Well, hi, I'm Mar. I'm a massage therapist for 20 something years, almost 25 years at this point, not quite 23. And I also teach movement. I'm a flow arts instructor, and I've integrated flow arts and now a laughter yoga leader. And so I like to mix laughter yoga with flow arts and teach people self-care, so that way it makes it easier for me to do my job as a massage therapist. How about you, Kat?
Well, I have been in administrative as a business office manager for 16 years. I've always done some sort of support and help people. But what made me want to start this group with you is the fact that I want to build something for women that gives them a sense of trust and community, things that I think that have been pushed to the side for too long, that we haven't been able to have a real sistership or sisterhood for many thousands of years.
Hundreds of years. I mean, definitely for hundreds, because there was in the Middle Ages, women were able, and we're going to get into that, and we will get into that. This is just our intro episode. We want to let y'all know what we're going to be doing. So what we're going to do is share different kinds of self-care. Because it's all about vibe curation. If we take care of our own vibes, if we are curanderas, curators of our own vibes, curanderas de nuestras vibras, then we are helping heal ourselves, because we are self-healers. Everyone heals themselves. And when we all do our work to heal ourselves, not only do we take better care of ourselves, but we find tools along the way to share with other people to better help. And that's what we want to do with this podcast, is share tools that we really appreciate, that support our own vibe curation, whether it's through books. So we've got some books that we're going to be sharing. We're going to do kind of a book club thing where Katie and I have different books that we want to read ourselves. We'd love suggestions from y'all of books that you would like for us to read and review. And music, independent artists. We want to feature all sorts of independent artists that are putting stuff out there.
And the coolest thing we're going to be doing is something that I've wanted to do for quite some time, and we're going to call it Wonder Woman Wednesday. And we are going to basically spotlight a woman around the world, could be anywhere, and then also somebody locally. That's one thing we want. We want to build up this community of women.
In Texas. We're in Texas.
We're in Texas. Howdy. So that's the main goal, is to just build this network of women and share knowledge and talk about things that work and things that don't work.
Yes. So we've got we want to. A lot of y'all probably know about Dolly Parton. Dolly is wonderful, and when we started talking about this, we're just like, oh my gosh, she's the first woman that came to mind, as in who is an exemplary woman, a Wonder Woman. You know, as exemplary women that we want to emulate. That's admirable women to emulate. Inspiring women.
And who better than the
Dolly.
Rhinestone Queen herself.
And so much that she's done. You know, so many people know about her music, maybe don't know about all of her philanthropy and
the Imagination
Library
Library.
That she is, yeah.
Helping with hospitals and schools. She's all about education.
Oh, so much. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
So we'll be getting into that, and then we'll also be featuring Robin. Oh my gosh, I can't remember her last name. But Robin with the Bird's Nest, and we'll have her last name, but it's Bird's Nest. She's just outside of Dallas. She's created a community for women that's a tiny home community, and is being a role model for so many other women to start intentional communities. And that's another thing that we want to talk about.
A support system.
Is intentional communities, and all the different kinds of intentional communities that there are out there. Like, there's definitely women-only ones, there's mixed ones, there's intentional communities that have been around for decades at this point. There's some that, and all the different forms of intentional community, because it doesn't have to be like out on a farm. You could have get a bunch of apartments close to each other. You can get houses in the same neighborhood together, buy out a street. Right?
Yeah.
And then Katie is a gardener and a
Yes.
cook.
An inspiring herbalist, and that's some of the things that I want to get into is old remedies, making tinctures with y'all, teaching you how to make elixirs and things like that. So we'll have different segments where she'll be featuring body care, because that's what
I do.
That's what she knows and what she
Yeah.
does, which I'm so grateful to be her friend, because I get to benefit from all of that, which strangely enough is kind of how we met, we actually know each other through my husband. And you know, I'm sure a lot of women can relate to this story, that when another woman comes into the picture, your eyes get kind of wide and your ears open up, and you want to make sure that it's all on the up and up, because you feel like, who's this woman coming into my home and around my husband and all this stuff. But what I learned, the more that I was around Margarita, the more I learned how her heart is, and the value that I would have by knowing her and being friends and having a sisterhood with Margarita. So I didn't find her as a threat anymore. I found it as my husband brought this amazing woman into my life, and I am very grateful for that.
Yeah, and I'm grateful too, because I didn't get to meet, when I first met Kat's husband, I didn't know Kat. She wasn't in the picture. And so there's that thing where like you don't necessarily know about the other person either, right? And so I also paid attention and really felt early on, like, I'm like, no, I think she seems like a really badass chick. Like, I think you should appreciate her more, honestly, because she seems like a really awesome human. And honestly, outside, what came out of all of this was really both of our marriages improving and our partnerships improving, because we were better appreciating our spouses. And I think in some aspects, because we recognized characteristics that maybe we hadn't been appreciating in our spouses, that we were able to better appreciate, because we recognize them in other people. And then when we recognize them in other people, we realize that we hadn't been seeing them in our spouses, because we've been locked seeing them from life experiences and shit that happens, and shit gets dark, and then you get stuck in these character roles. And it's almost like you need somebody else to come along to remind you, oh, these are other character traits that we can embody, and we don't have to keep being and playing those old roles anymore. We can shift. And that's how.
And I think another thing that helps is another woman calling you out on your, not hatefully, but just like making you a mirror, so that you see.
Just a reflection.
Yeah, a reflection. And having that bond.
And not in a competitive way.
No.
It's not competition.
It's just like, hey, you're missing out on this right here, and I'm going to bring it to your attention. And we're similar, but we're different.
We're very different.
We're very... we have the same heart.
And that's something that y'all will find out. Because ultimately, that's the connection. So vibes, right? We're talking about vibe curation. What connected me to Kat's husband is vibes. And then what connected us is vibes. What connected me to my husband, vibes, right? That's what connects all of us is
those good frequencies.
That's good, right?
Yeah.
Right
Oh,
there,
good vibes. Good vibes.
That sounding sure right there. But we got some motorcycle back there in the background. Vroom vroom, doing some good vibes. So talking about these good vibes, the frequency, resonance. So we'll be talking about that, resonance and dissonance and coincidence and synchronicity.
What's
the whole thing. So speaking of coincidence and synchronicity, so we decide, oh no, we're going to save that.
Okay.
We're going to save that. It's going to be a surprise. So y'all going to have to come in and tune in and see what that surprise is going to be as we talk about these coincidences and synchronicities, and how once you start noticing and paying attention, they just seem to pop up all over the place. Is it a coincidence or is it a synchronicity? Because, oh my goodness gracious, because check this out. I have this cat I don't know if you can see it. I have this cat here, K-A-T. And this cat is K-A-T. And cat, in my paradigm, for many, many years, way before I ever met Cat, stands for kind, authentic, and transparent.
And I do my best to emulate that.
To be that. And so she's a cat. And I'm like, oh, she's a cat? Cool. And then I appreciate fat cats. Fat cats are patient, helpful, appreciative, transitional, kind, authentic, and transparent. So I like to surround myself with fat cats. And I like to surround myself with hoop cats. Hoop cats are hopeful, open, observant, playful, timeless, embracing everything souls. And so this cat, this little hoop cat right here, has a hoop around its neck. And I love giving away hoops. So that's one of the things that I like to do as my volunteerism in the world, is facilitating movement and fun self-care through flow arts. I give hoops away just for kicks. And whenever I give somebody a hoop, they become my hoop cat. And hoop cats are on their ways to becoming hoopties. Oh, well, not hoopties, hoop cats, I know hoopties, right? And the hoopty is timeless, embracing everything soul. It takes a long time for us to learn to embrace everything. So we start out as kind, authentic, and transparent. If we can be fat, be fat. As long as we can be cat, we're cool.
I'm just cat. I try. I top out at kind, authentic, and transparent. All the other stuff I'm learning through being.
Well, we're working, and
we're working.
We're always in becoming, right? We're always fat becoming. We can always get fatter, you know. Even if you're a little fat, you can always get fatter, and that's a beautiful thing, to be a fat cat, honestly. Not the kind of fat cats, not a corporate fat cat, but a PHATKAT fat cat. So we're just kind of changing things around, having fun with words, spellings.
She likes acronyms.
Yes, well,
you'll learn that.
Words
what you
are
should
spells.
do is every show have a new acronym.
I probably will, because words are spells, kids. Words are spells. That's why they call it spelling. Because MD, choose your language wisely. What are you creating? What are you putting into your reality? So yeah, vagus nerve toning is really important. So I'll be talking about that too. Singing, breathing, laughing. We'll be doing some laughter yoga. It's gonna be fun.
It is gonna be a lot of fun, and we can't wait for you to join us.
We're gonna have a dance party with
we'll close with a dance party.
Yeah.
So, featuring a new artist,
yeah.
Or new to us.
Yeah, new to us.
Or
maybe not even new to us, even just art that we really appreciate.
Yes.
Because it's ultimately, it comes down to vibe curation. The vibes, the music that uplifts my heart and soul, I like to share with people. When I find videos that inspire me and excite me, I like to share them with people. I know that people aren't gonna necessarily watch it, and I send it to them immediately. I recognize that at some point they'll process it in their own space and time, and that's fine. I'm just delighted to get to share, because I love sharing, and that's why we're doing this podcast, because we both love to share. We both.
I want to empower.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of I feel like there's something missing in our lives. There's this, women let's just talk about nuns for a minute. They have a sistership. They have something that they depend on each other. They don't need any outside people helping them with it. They can do it themselves. And I think we've lost that somewhere along the way, that we just handicapped ourselves.
Well,
mentally, physically.
We'll get into that. That wasn't really ourselves. It starts with a P, and it ends with an archy.
Yeah.
And you don't have to try too hard to figure out what's in the middle there, my friends. But we'll get into that too. And honestly, this is one of the books that I'm going to be covering here, White Like Me, Reflections on Race from a Privileged Son by Tim Wise. So we're going to be looking at things from all over the place, like the writings of Florence Scovel Shinn. She was writing about abundance and the power of our thoughts and our language in the 1920s. So these are ideas that have been around. We're going to be talking about Marguerite Mary Rigoglioso and the mystery traditions of miraculous conception. and getting a different perspective of Mary and Magdalene and Sophia and all sorts of interesting things. So if that sends any tingles down your back when you hear those words or those names, tune in. We're going to be looking at Attached, the new science of adult attachment, and how it can help you find and keep love, because it's important to understand how our childhood experiences molded the way that we connect with people, because that's important. That's part of self-care, because without self-care, we can't curate our vibes. And without curating our vibes, we can't build a community, honestly. Intentional community requires...
Well, yeah, you don't want those bad vibes in your community.
So we really need everybody doing their part to take care of themselves so that we have the bandwidth to build intentional communities with each other and enjoy this beautiful planet, human, earth, home that we have here. I'm human. I am.
Most days. So we hope you'll join us. We'll have our first video up next Wednesday or the Wednesday after.
Probably the Wednesday
Stay after, because we've got to film next week.
We've got to film.
We got to do,
but this is
and a little bit of research. We got to do it because we didn't know Robin's last name, and I feel so bad.
No, but we will.
We will,
Look up
and we're going to share with all of you.
ROBYN, Bird's Nest.
Bird's Nest,
Texas.
I think they can. Yeah, Dallas.
Yes,
I think.
yeah, she's outside of Dallas, so that's enough if you're wanting to just on your own, you know. But we're going to tell you about her, fill you in.
All right.
And yeah, and so cheers.
Cheers. Welcome to tea time.
Welcome to tea time. Howdy Sisterships. Y'all have a great evening wherever you are.
Good night.
Good night.